2015, 1 year ago, an earthquake struck the country of Nepal, leading to widespread damage and loss of life. I knew exactly how I could help. I logged onto Facebook, liked a few posts, and updated my status message. But does that really make a difference? Respected contest chair, and anybody who has ever felt the need to make a difference. What else could I do? I am a graduate student at the university. My debts rise like the price of Apple stock, and my salary fluctuates like the price of gasoline. Maybe if I had $1 million, I can make a difference. Later that day, I was invited to help with a fundraiser organized by the students from Nepal. They planned to set up a table in a public place and ask for donations. A little voice in my head said, "This is not going to work. People are self-centered. The world is a terrible place. Haven't you heard the news? Nobody cares." But I found it really hard to say no, and against my better judgment, I agreed to help. As time passed, I noticed that many other people had the same lapse of judgment. Local businesses offered to provide free food and drinks to help us attract potential donors. One student even offered to provide free coffee for everybody who stopped by our table. My skepticism began to vanish, and I thought maybe if we work together, we can pull this off. A few days later, at 8 a.m., we set up a table with lots of free food and a big donation jar. 2 hours later, in spite of all the free food and my competent toastmastering skills, we collected $5. The little voice in my head began to say, "I told you so, I told you so, I told you so." Until one lady walked up to the table, took one look at the big, empty donation jar, reached into her pocket and dropped a $100 bill. Now, I had never seen a $100 bill before. We were so shocked, we stood there doing, we did not even say thank you. After that, we never looked back. Around 11 a.m., as students began to wake, donations came pouring in. We noticed that people donate more money when the jar was empty. So we emptied the jar at regular intervals. Now, sometime after noon, this tall guy wearing a Darth Vader t-shirt walked up to the table, helped himself to some donuts, a bagel, a piece of pie, and some coffee. We stood there doing. Finally, he got the hint and went. He said that he did not have cash with him, and he will be back after a quick trip to the ATM. The voice in my head said, "Yeah, right. Welcome to the dark side." But 30 minutes later, Darth Vader was back with a couple of 20s, and I learned that I should have more faith in humanity. At the end of the day, we sat down to count the donations. As we sat there, surrounded by little piles of currency notes, we felt like drug dealers. We had collected over $6,000, far more than any initial estimates. $6,000, that is 6 months' pay for someone like me. $6,000, something that we could have never managed unless we worked together. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are many issues that bother me. But whenever I try to do something, there are these voices in my head which say, "You don't have enough money. nobody will help you. If you do something, it will not really matter. That day, when we collected $6,000 for earthquake relief, I learned that I don't really need $1 million to make a difference. People are always willing to help. All we need to do is ask. Every little bit matters. At the very least, it matters to me. Now, think of anything that bothers you. Maybe it is global climate change or rising income inequality. Maybe it's about preventing animal cruelty or helping people who hear voices in their heads. Don't be afraid. Don't give up. Don't give in. Give it all you got. Reach out to people and keep in mind there are a million little ways in which you and I can make a difference.